Aye. Well, look, in the comments as well, Mick, Thomas Burns simply says, I feel sorry for people who own a Honda Civic. And I think that might be in response to you. And by the way, I owned a Honda Civic for about 6 years. Great car. Never let me down.
A Toyota Prius.
My brother had one for about 20 years. They called it Jane. Jane Honda.
Oh, my.
He loved it. I felt bad for Jane another day when I heard that.
Thomas, obviously, Mick, is referring to Brendan Rodgers. You wrote a piece on Record Sport Online today about his struggles going on at Celtic just now, which I definitely think is required reading for Celtic fans. But are the wheels falling off, Mick? Is that what's happening?
Well, it's a multi-leveled malfunction. I mean, I said when talking about the Honda, it's not a Honda. Hondas are reliable. Celtic are far from reliable right now, and the warning lights are flashing all over the camp. I think it's a real mess. There's harmony from the supporters to the board, between the board and the manager. The manager's not content with his squad. The squad isn't playing well. There's gaping holes in the team. Players out of form, players that don't look fit, and a team that don't know how to score a goal. I mean, it's an absolute recipe for disaster for Celtic. And the big problem they've got is that it could get worse. They've got a huge spell coming up. They've got, obviously, Sturm Graz in town Thursday, Hearts at Tynecastle, which they could go 8 points behind, which is incredible at this stage of the season. They've got Rangers in the League Cup semi-final coming up a week Sunday as well. The season is already on a fine edge, and it's when you've seen the bad-tempered support so far, it's very combustible. And then the manager situation is lingering in there as well. I mean, he's been very honest, and he's always worth listening to, Brendan Rodgers. But he's trying everything to try and find some kind of solution to find a way for this team to function. But the reality is he's got very little goals in his team. And a team that's not got any goals in it is going to struggle. And other rival teams have figured it. I mean, Celtic Callum McGregor stuff today said that they've been easy to play against. He's right. People look back at the Scottish Cup final and the Jimmy Chileen playing for penalties from the first whistle set up. That's been employed by Kerriat, St Mirren, Kilmarnock, Rangers, and then again Dundee. It's a blueprint that works against Celtic, so everyone's going to do it, and it's going to continue to struggle. So I don't know where it goes with Celtic. I think they've got major problems coming down the pipeline.
And there is a scenario, Keith, where Mick mentioned there that if Hearts win at Tynecastle on Sunday, I know it's a big if, they've got 8 points clear. Celtic are in the Cup semi-final the week after. Hearts could go 11 points clear. And then even the week after that, Hearts play first. There's a scenario where Celtic could be 14 points behind Hearts.
And potentially knocked out of the League Cup by Danny Rowland Rangers. Which would, that's your worst case scenario for Brendan Rodgers right now. Well, I say it's your worst case scenario. The Honda Civics Owners Association might make some sort of formal complaint. It'd be a bit like the police chief from Scott Squad when he has to go and apologise about this, apologise for that, because he's getting clobbered, isn't he? He's getting clobbered now, Brendan Rodgers, and I think where he had the advantage of having the fans on board with him, just coming out of that transfer window, I feel it turning, Mick, don't you, a little bit? I feel there's more and more getting aimed at him now.
I think Sunday, I said it on this show on Sunday afternoon, it felt a wee bit like a watershed moment at Celtic, that all of a sudden, having the board copped all the flack for months and months, all of a sudden the manager is getting dragged into the blast zone. I think people are then going, well, the football this year has been dreadful. They've not scored in 6 games this season. It's already. They've only won, was it 7 out of 14 games. The win ratio for 2025 is down below 60%. And all of a sudden, the players are available to the manager. That is a reason for it. But the punters are thinking, well, they should be able to rise above this and still get a better tune at these guys. So he's definitely getting dragged into it. And listen, I think if in normal circumstances, the fact that it's Hearts top of the league right now changes it slightly as well. Because if Celtic were 5 points behind Rangers right now, with potential of going 8 behind Rangers, I think at normal times you'd be thinking it's getting almost a sacking issue. I mean, Rangers sacked managers. Michael Beale was 7 points behind Celtic in October. Brian Bronckhurst was 9 points behind in November, wasn't it? Clement was about 9 or 10 points behind. If you go 8 points behind, 11 points behind a Rangers, you're talking about the manager getting the Dan Mack, right? Celtic right now, though, that should not be a conversation topic, because all roads lead back to the major issues, which is the transfer and recruitment in the last 5 windows. Because everything that's happened in these 5 windows has taken us to this point. So anything you do want to scrutinise Brendan Rodgers, which I think is only right to do so, but eventually all roads lead back to recruitment, because he's been left. I don't, maybe not the keys to the Honda Civic, right? But he's been left with a very imbalanced squad with guys that are not up to scratch. So the signings they have made haven't looked good enough, and the ones that needed they didn't make. So they're now left relying on a striker who was been basically turfed out by Seville, having hardly kicked the ball for 18 months. He's now the main man for City up front. The backup is a League of Ireland striker who scored 2 goals in 9 months. It cost about 200 grand. They've lost £17 million worth of Kyogo and Adamida to replace it with these 2 guys. There's no right winger. There's issues all over the park. I mean, Rodgers is entitled to say, right, he does say it, I'm the one responsible, I'll carry the can. But he's also entitled to go, well, I mean, look at what I'm having to work with here. So it's just a bit of a mess with Celtic right now. The breakdown between the board and the manager is clearly damaging the place. The fans and the board's ongoing uncivil war is damaging the place. And I asked the question the weekend, is it affecting matters on the pitch, right? And he said, in fairness to Rodgers, said, no, he's not an excuse. But if you're a Celtic player right now, you're getting told you're not very good by the manager. The fans are throwing things in the park and when silent protests and all that stuff. You're a human being. That's going to affect you. And the whole place is getting more toxic by the week. And I think there could be more trouble down the line. Rodgers is going to need to work harder and do more magic than he's ever worked with the manager in the next 4 weeks. To find a formation, a straight up, a way of playing that's a tune at these guys and gets them scoring goals again. Because right now, they can't keep toiling like this on a weekly basis because it's not going to go anywhere.
You know, I think what he's got in his favour, Mike, is he's got players that have been the course and distance at Celtic.
Aye, Keith, but see, the problem is, those guys, they look clapped out. They've been relied on. This is the dying embers of Ange Postecoglou's team. Yeah. So you're looking at Callum McGregor, 60 games a season, carrying the team at times. Rio Hatate looks a shadow. Cameron Carter-Vickers, again, doesn't look like a player he used to be. Dyson Maeder should have left in the summer, having to come back from injury and carry the team again. These are the guys who are the mainstays and have been relied on for so long. And it looks as though the burden is now finally caught up with them.
I think that because they've gone over the course and distance, you've always got a chance that they'll spark, that they'll get the spark back, they'll come back to life, they'll start finding form and performances. I think maybe the worry is the guys that have come in around about it, they must be looking at it. And it's very similar. This is a similar problem to what's been going on at Rangers since the start of the season. New guys coming into an entirely new environment going, what is this madness? What's this chaos? And you can almost see some of the newer guys that have come into the pitch at Celtic wilting over the last few games. And it's something, this is what I keep coming back to, this unique environment. It takes a special sort. And whether that's a player or a manager or a first team coach, it's not for everybody. It takes more than just being talented at your job. You need to carry the personality. You need to have a broad pair of shoulders and be able to dig yourself out of a hole when the heat's on. I think Celtic get enough of these guys, but Mick, I think you're right as well. Even the ones that you could hang your hat on look as if they're starting to struggle on it.